hello. So you know how sometimes you do that thing where you wake up like hours and hours before you're supposed to do something, and then you're like, I've got hours. Let me just like take a quick nap or like close my eyes and go back to sleep for like an hour because I don't have to be up for 2 hours. Yeah, that's dangerous. Hi, Jens. I woke up 3 hours ago and was like, I'm up too early. I would like to sleep more. And then Nick Nack called me. Because I fucked up. Alright. Let's see if I can get this working without... Okay, we're trying to get this going. Oh. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Alright. Y'all should be able to see this now. Oh, wow. Okay. I don't love that my volume options are on and off. But okay. So weird. All right. Okay. All right, new game. So, this obviously won in the poll. I had to go ask one of my friends to break the tie yesterday.
The Empire of Japan, after opening its doors, a push for cultural transformation brought great waves of Western influence to this far eastern island nation. The revolution washed over the land, making life in the capital exciting and unsettling. It was a period of great change, and some were swept away by the tide. But for one man, the turbulence of that era was just the beginning of an extraordinary story.
Okay. Alright, so episode 1, The Adventure of the Great Departure. Bienvenue à la Carnival. So welcome to the carnival, I think is the chapter name. Oh, that's really annoying. Okay. Alright. So, before we move on, first of all, I'm assuming Taisho era Japan, which that's pretty fucking... I mean, I'm assuming we're in Taisho era, but we might be in Meiji because it said after the opening and such. And the opening is firmly sort of Meiji, but Taisho was the T.H.E is the period right after that, so it's like the proper integration. So I didn't see a year, so I'm assuming T.H.E, which is pretty interesting in my opinion. The reason we're playing Ace Attorney is because Nick Nack wants me to play a visual novel that is not Witch on the Holy Night. Or he thinks I'd enjoy this more than Witch on the Holy Night as sort of being indicative towards visual novels and mystery games. And he knows I love a good mystery. Hence my love of like Agatha Christie and all that sort of stuff, Sherlock Holmes, etc. I do actually read mystery novels. So we're gonna try this out. 22nd of November, 8:43 a.m. Supreme Court of Judicature, Defendants Antechamber 5. Okay, still can't believe it. I still can't believe this is happening. How can it be that just beyond the doors to this quiet little chamber is the highest court in Japan, waiting to decide my fate? Okay, fate's in red. That means something special. What? Oh. Oh, no, nothing. Save your glares. Murder. Oh, I am a murderer. That's valid, Jens. T.H.E is, I think, often neglected and ignored in favor of Meiji and then, like, far more modern historical Japan. I personally am a big fan of T.H.E era stuff. Apollo just isn't... It's a duology? Bruh, I didn't even know this was a duology. Okay. My name is Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I'm a second-year student at the Imperial Yume University. 3 days ago, I somehow found myself in the middle of a horrifying incident. And now here I am, awaiting my trial. That's enough. He's not a oh my god, why it's fluttering in the non-existent wind! He's not obliged to listen to such abuse, officer. But who are you? I'm this man's lawyer. I'll be defending him today. Lawyer? Yes, and until the judge has given his verdict on the case, no one has the right to treat him as a criminal. So you will hold your tongue. Technicalities. Look at you, you haven't even graduated yet. You made me a law school student? And yet I still seem to know better than you how a court officer should behave. Right, Ryunosuke? Oh, yes, of course. Sorry. What are you apologizing to me for? Oh, no, I suppose that wasn't my fault. But really, Kazuma, I never meant to drag you into this. I'm sorry. There you go again, apologizing. That's fair. I think the 1920s for me are really interesting. Given that most of the study I put into the 1920s is obviously from the United States. Jesus fucking Christ. I'm not tired. I just slept 3 extra hours. I think there's some interesting things happened in the 1920s that are very much reflectant of like society today and culture and economy, and therefore it does make it very, very interesting because it is sort of like that century ago point of time, and also it was such a turning point for just about everyone. Though I must say, you've been all over the newspapers. Okay. Alright. This is making me... This is making me fucking... I just want to be able to make it, like, appear. Let's see if I can... So I must say you've been all over the newspapers these past few days. T.H.E University professor murdered in cold blood by student. But obviously, you didn't actually do it, did you? Of course not. You have to believe me. I didn't do it. I could never murder someone. Then there's nothing to worry about. Straighten yourself up, hold your head high. You mean, I believe you. I know you're innocent, Ryunosuke. Kazuma Asogi, my best friend, also in his second year at T.H.E University, but he's far more clever than I. A star student, in fact. He's even a qualified lawyer, impressive considering he's still an undergraduate. It's not that impressive. The very concept of lawyers is only a few years old, here in Japan anyway. My qualifications don't mean much, yet. You said exactly the same thing 3 days ago. But I'm proud to have a friend like you, Kazuma. Truly, thank you! Fuck. Jesus. Alright, so far I have been implicated in the murder of my professor at T.H.E University. And apparently, one of my friends, who is not yet a graduate, but is somehow still a fully fledged lawyer, is defending me because people assume I'm a murderer. 3 days ago? Yes, that's when all this started. Congratulations, Kazuma. It looks like you're going to get to study abroad at last. I know, I've been forever dreaming of this day. Finally, those government elites have acknowledged my academic achievements and success in court. So you'll be representing Japan as you immerse yourself in the most sophisticated legal system in the world. I'm really happy for you and proud as your friend. There's not a soul in university who doesn't know Kazuma's name. He's a living legend. It's like there's some mysterious aura billowing around his temple. I want to bring about changes in our own legal system. That's why I have to cross the ocean to see the real thing with my own eyes. The heart of the British Empire. I wish I could see it too. Then come with me. We'd have a wild time tearing up the streets of Her Majesty's City of London together. Not to be that person, but like... I mean, I suppose you're crossing an ocean, depending on the route. Yeah, I mean, I suppose you're crossing an ocean, but like... I don't know. I don't know if I'd like refer to going to London as crossing an ocean as opposed to going to like the United States or something like that. But I guess you are technically crossing a sea from Japan if you sail to the mainland and then travel. And then you're not really, I mean, I guess you could call it crossing the Indian Ocean, but it feels weird. If only it were that simple. Oh dear, look at the time, I'd better be going. Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a little longer. Good idea, after all. It's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. See you in English class tomorrow then, partner. It was straight after that. That's when it happened. Asogi, may I have a word? Are those my parents? Are those his parents? Professor! Neither. I didn't know you were coming. Well, this case has personal significance to me, but never mind that for now. You should go immediately to the judge's chambers. To His Excellency's chambers? Why? He was looking for you before. You advocating for the defense in this trial was a sudden decision. It seems like there may be some confusion about procedures today as a result. Who is this man? I feel as though I've seen him at university before. I see. I'll go at once then. I shall accompany you. Alright then, Ryunosuke. I'll see you in the courtroom. Yes, thanks, Kazuma. Well, she's nice, but quiet. She's very quiet. Ugh, this is awkward. If I may. Yes, sorry. You must be the defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, I believe. Yes, that's right. Why do I keep getting punched? For what reason do the fucking VFX keep punching me? My name is Yujin Mikotoba. I'm a professor of forensic medicine at T.H.E University. Ah, Professor Mikotoba. I've heard the name from Kazuma before. As I recall, he's been pushing to get the government to agree to Kazuma studying abroad. Alright. Alright. Can't do it. I can't do it. Asogi has told me about you. You and he are best friends, I understand. As such, I feel you should know. Know what? Well, as you've no doubt heard, Asogi has been granted permission to go and study in Great Britain. However, if he should fail today... Fuck me. If he should fail... Okay, so there was... If he should fail to defend you in today's trial, I'm afraid that permission will be revoked and never granted again. What? Ah, as I suspected, you were unaware of this. I had a feeling Asogi may have chosen not to tell you. He's agreed to defend me, knowing that if he fails, his dreams will be shattered? But I don't understand. Why would the government do such a thing? The administration has to choose from a large number of applicants for overseas study. It's very difficult to persuade them to grant permissions, even in the most favorable of circumstances. I don't believe it. But I didn't do it. I swear it. I'm not a murderer. I'm sure that's true. Nevertheless, I can assure you that proving your innocence will be no easy task. You see, there are certain peculiarities about today's trial. Sorry? What do you mean? You'll soon understand once proceedings get underway. But then what should I do? Well, naturally, I'm not going to suggest doing anything that could lead to a conviction. Right, so... As soon as the trial starts, the judge will pose a certain question to the defense. When that happens, you must answer before anyone else. You must say, I do. I do? But what will the question be? Surely not. Do you accept the accusations brought before you? Of course not. Defendant. Court is about to begin. Proceed to the courtroom at once. It would seem our surreptitious discussions are to be cut short. So allow me to summarize. Kazuma Asogi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. Of course, as the defendant, the final decision is yours. What are you waiting for? Do you want to be found guilty for failing to appear? Get moving. There's no point in anyone advocating for the likes of you anyways. Y'all are being real fucking assholes about this. This is it. If this trial goes badly, Kazuma's dreams of studying abroad are over, and what's more, I'll be found guilty of murder. And so, with an absolutely no idea of what lay ahead, I embarked on that unforgettable trial. My one and only chance of proving my innocence, the trial that would decide my destiny. (22nd of November, 9 a.m. Supreme Court of Judicature, Courtroom 2. Okay, so we were on the 23rd before. Oh, God. So this is a courtroom. Oh, okay. The Supreme Court of Judicature. No court in the land has more power. I don't much like the look of those people sitting in the public gallery. Lots of military and other uniforms in there. Is there a reason why the music has stopped? I'm so confused. Okay. Alright. The powers that be have demanded that this be a secret trial. A secret trial? A trial that's closed to ordinary members of the public. Only military and government officials may attend. What? But why? It'll become clear in time. But for now... You need to concentrate, Ryunosuke. It's about to begin. The court will now hear the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Oh, yeah, sorry, Knick-Knack. It just... The typing as, like, the talking happens is one... that's one of the sound effects. And it's driving me fucking batty. Like, I don't mind the music, but I swear to fucking God, if I have to listen to that goddamn typewriter typing this entire time, I will put a fist through my screen. Alright, So the court will now hear the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. The prosecution is ready, Your Excellency. As is the defense. He kind of looks like Stash Face. Before we begin, there's one point of order I would like to confirm. Yesterday evening, the defense made a last-minute request for a change of advocate. That's correct, Your Excellency. I made the request myself. Normal procedure is for the defendant's advocacy to be decided 2 days prior to the trial. As this is an unusual circumstance, I am obliged to ask for final confirmation now. Who advocates for the defendant in this trial? So, I was advised to say, I do. Okay, this is it. This must be the question. Who's going to defend me? This is the question the professor means. But then if I say, I do, I need to answer quickly. What should I do? I think I should do what the professor tells me. Your Excellency, no confirmation is needed. As I'm standing here before the defendant, and I agree to this. I would like to inform the court that I, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, will be defending myself. What the fuck? You'll be what? What are you playing at, Ryunosuke? Professor Mikotoba told me everything, just now before the trial. He did what? He said that your dreams of studying abroad would be dashed if you were to lose. How sad. It means you don't have faith in me. You think I... Get fucked! No, it's not that, really. It's just that, well, on the off chance that things don't go well for me, I couldn't be the reason that you... Yes, I knew that's how you'd feel, which is exactly why I didn't ask you. Professor Mikotoba shouldn't have stuck his nose in. Very well. The court hereby recognizes the defendant's desire to advocate for himself in today's trial. Well, well. Does the accused admit defeat already? Renouncing his own counsel.
Objection.
Really? Make no mistake, counsel. This merely shows that the defendant's innocence is so apparent he's confident he can speak for himself. Isn't that so, Naruhodo-san? Oh, yes, exactly. Jesus, we're stupid. Exactly what I wasn't thinking. I'm not confident at all. In fact, my mind's a complete... Jesus, we're stupid! I realize you're in charge now, but still, try not to look so bewildered. Well, for a mere university student to be brought before the Supreme Court, you must have perpetrated a most heinous crime indeed. I'm sorry that I'm losing the gavel sound, but in trade for not having the typewriter. As you are no doubt aware, this is the Supreme Court of Judicature of Japan. Accordingly, the very highest standards of conduct are expected of all present. Do I make myself clear, Defendant Naruhodo? Yes, Your Excellency. It is therefore my duty to assess your competence for the task you have undertaken. My competence? What does that mean? He's questioning your ability to do the job. Well, he can't be questioning it more than I am. So, let's start with the very simplest of questions. Yes. Kindly state before the court the name of the victim in this case. Well, that's easy enough. I've heard his name more times than I'd care to remember. But, wait. I'm so nervous I can't even remember that. What was it again? Ryunosuke. Let me guess. Your mind's gone blank. Oh, you know me so well. All of the relevant information for this case can be found in the court record, but I can't even find that. It's simple. You can access the court record with a press of E. If you ever find you've forgotten something, just consult that. It's all in there. I just have to press E for the court record? Alright, there's no time to lose. Find details about the... Okay, so this is... So remember, everything to do with the current case can be found in the court record. Now you'd better not keep His Excellency waiting any longer. Go on. Find the victim in the people section of the court record, then press R to return to present. Try it now. Alright. John H. Oh, it's a white man. Okay. Alright. John H. Wilson.
Yes!
Well, at least you can remember the name of the esteemed member of your own university. Dr. Wilson was a visiting professor from England, invited to UMA University 3 years ago. Indeed, which is the reason why this case has such profound implications. The British Empire is at present our country's most valuable foreign ally. And as most of you are aware, we have just signed a new treaty together after lengthy negotiations. There can't be anyone who hasn't heard of the Anglo-Japanese Treaty of Friendship and Navigation. And yet, despite these delicate circumstances, an Englishman has been... the blood of an... Fuck, I didn't read that right. The blood of an Englishman has been spilt on our soil. You two are both undergraduates at the Imperial Yume University, are you not? Murdering a professor from the very institution that provides your education. Have you no honor? But I didn't do it. This case is coming under great scrutiny from our allies on the other side of the world. The court therefore wishes for a speedy resolution to this matter. In other words, our feeble government is scared of upsetting England's policymakers. Yeah, this is definitely T.H.E and not Meiji, because if it was Meiji, you've got the more unequal treaty that demanded like that criminals be tried by the British court instead. You're a convenient and expendable scapegoat to blame for this crime, so that's why this trial has these unusual peculiarities, is it? Exactly. Our government needs to convict someone as quickly as possible. All because the victim was an Englishman. Yes, Dr. Wilson was an English. Yeah, I get it, he was English. Nationalities and treaties won't... Yeah, they're not gonna make it... Alright. Okay. I don't think I'm gonna continue reading this entire thing out loud, but... we saw this scene. Oh, yay, so we're getting to see what happens after Kazuma leaves. Okay, so he saw the professor. Oh, he seems very nice. So far. So do I have a separate place for evidence, or am I still in the... Okay, post-mortem, alright. After 2 p.m., loss of blood from gunshot to the chest, bullet sting. Okay.
Yes!
The yelling is also a little annoying, but okay. I can almost, in my head, hear him struggling to say the word hemorrhagic. And I get it, because that's not, like... Yeah. Interesting. No, we might be tested on this later, but you know. But... That's fair, Jones. In theory, not that I know much about guns from the early 1900s. Well, this is, yeah. But you would theoretically only have that much of a scorch mark on the clothing if it were to have been like point blank range. And if we're point blank range, it'd be pretty hard for it to be still in the body. It likely would have been a through and through. What do you mean don't attack the identity of this series? Oh, the lawyer's yelling. Sorry. It's just the yes, like, shocks me every time I hear it because I'm not expecting it somehow. Also, why is he facing this way? If the table, if the food and the... this photo is suspicious already. This photo doesn't make sense. Alright, okay, so yeah, close range. But, like, the photo still doesn't make sense. It looks like they moved the body afterwards. Okay. Alright. Yeah, it is a better option than a drawing, but, you know. I feel like that was not enough for you to be completely aware that I am mentally competent and able to defend myself, sir. Also, this man just T-posed to assert dominance on me. What the fuck? I gotta... Oh, yay, a witness. Mikotova. Oh, so you're still gonna chill here and help me. All right. I mean, that's fair, Jens. I'm just trying to be critical here because I know that this is a murder mystery sort of thing. Like, I know I'm on trial here, and I need to be able to, like, point out shit, you know? I'm just being critical. And people should not be... You shouldn't be moving the body before you make a complete and accurate documentation of the scene. You know? Because like, that's some stupid shit is what that is. You contaminating the crime scene. 90% of what I know about fucking investigations comes from the combination of taking forensic anthropology, and then, which does have to deal with, like, that sort of stuff. But then also the fact that my mom and I are absolutely serial crime show watchers. I grew up watching NCIS, CSI, Criminal Minds, The Mentalist, NCIS Los Angeles, NCIS New Orleans, NCIS Hawaii, NCIS Origins, currently, Criminal Minds Suspect Behavior, all the different CSIs, you know, Law and Order, etc. And I know that those are not a perfect representation, but, you know, it's pretty funny still. Yeah, why is your headband blowing in the wind? There's no wind. We are in a room. We are in a room. Is there a fan face? Oh, it's the waiter. Exactly. Satoru Hosonaga. The head waiter, okay. La Carnival. Do you have tuberculosis? Why are you coughing up blood? This bitch has TB or some shit. Okay. So it's the Western District, alright. Fancy word choice, an Occidental eatery. Yeah, but he just walked in afterwards from what we saw at the beginning. Rude. Once again, my guy. Have you got TB?
Yes.
Oi.
Objection.
That's fair, actually. Yeah. Okay. But does that mean there were people still in the restaurant? Also, was the English gentleman eating alone? Yeah, he wasn't eating alone. I feel it. I want to interject.
Yes.
That might get me in trouble.
Objection.
Bitch. And you just have this drawn up and prepared. I don't believe it. Yeah, but no, but you haven't. You said that like 3 tables were. You've not labeled any tables as occupied, except for the one where he was sitting. What about where Naruhodo was sitting? What about the other person that was there? That doesn't make any sense. Also, why would you draw this? Yeah, hand it over, bitch. Respectfully, this fucking TB-ridden asshole. T-post to assert your dominance. Absolutely the fuck not. I didn't do it. As an unsworn witness. Excuse me? Why are you an unsworn witness? Hang on. Then why the fuck should I trust anything that this waiter is saying? Unsworn witness. Alright, well, get fucked. No. Don't be a chicken. Don't be a chicken, Naruhodo. Don't be a chicken. Yeah. Oh, that's the pose. I've seen that pose in other Ace Attorney screenshots. Sure. Are you saying you're gonna kill me? How dare you? Alright, let's see who our witnesses are. Huh. Yes, sir. No, sir. Correct. Curio? Why is his name Curio? Like Curios? Correct. Oh my fucking god. Curios, like antiques, deal of friggin' hell. Okay. So are they the other table then? Yeah. But for what reason are they dining together? Always post-noon. Okay. So that fits. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. How does the sergeant play into this? Oof. Jesus, my guy. What strange noise? Oi! I swear to fucking God, if I just miss something because I don't want to listen to the typewriter clicking, I'm gonna scream. Alright. Okay. Unsavory memories of a most acerb. I love the way that this dude talks. 10 out of 10. Alright, witness testimony. Adjusting their regulation. Okay. 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 So, the Curio Man didn't see it. Did you just pull out a knife in the middle of a trial? I feel like... Okay. So, according to our recollection, we saw the professor and then went back to the table to drink coffee. English-made gun. Okay. Oh, a revolver. Alright. Interesting. So you were bent down too, so you didn't see what happened. No, I want to cross-examine.
Yes!
How did he know? Because it's obvious.
Objection!
That is true. You do get to do it no matter what. Alright, let's see. Yeah, you've got to figure out what they said was untrue or what doesn't match up, and then, you know, expose it. So you... Yes, the soldier definitely was not telling the truth. Yeah. I mean, in theory, if you didn't fire the gun and the gun you picked up was separate from the one that shot him, in theory then there would be no trace of like gunshot residue on the gun in evidence because it wasn't used. Also, I mean, forensics wasn't this great at the time, but there's a chance the bullet caliber wouldn't match. Although that's actually really hard to, like, telling specific calibers from gunshot entry and exit wounds is very, very hard to do because there's so many factors, and genuinely just, like, distance between you and the gun can literally change how big the hole is. So, like, calibers are almost impossible to tell. But still, I mean, there's a difference between, like, a really big hole and a really small hole. What the witnesses saw. What did you two see? Okay. He was ingesting a regulation beefsteak at the restaurant while having a tactical discussion with the old man. The old man was extolling the virtues of a particularly fine golden curio to the military gentleman. At that precise moment, a firearm was discharged. I observed the enemy's actions with my own eyes. The black-uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian, and from the back, the cowardly little weasel... I was on my hands. So, investigating the whereabouts of my mysteriously absconded precious... So, his curio went missing, and then he went down on the floor. So, obviously, they were not currently in discussion. What do you mean you have no idea what you're supposed to do here? You absolutely know. Alright. I think I'll go back to reading. Alright, okay, I'll read this. Listen, Ryunosuke, we know there are lies lurking in these statements. It's time to expose them. I understand that. The question is, how? Like I said before, the key to this is using evidence that you've collected. You can examine and present evidence while a witness is giving testimony by pressing E. Go through each witness statement and the details about each piece of evidence and compare all the facts. Somewhere in there, you'll find something that doesn't add up. In other words, an inconsistency. When you find a statement and a piece of evidence that seem to contradict each other, present your evidence with R and rip the witness apart. Just be careful, because if you assert a contradiction that has no basis, you'll be given a penalty. If you're dealt too many penalties, the defense's case will fall apart and you'll receive a guilty verdict. So that's it. Peruse the evidence in the court record to find an inconsistency with the witness's statement. Alright. You can hear the witness's statements over and over again as many times as you like. So keep your head and be measured in your attack. Good luck. Alright. I thought E was supposed to get me to people. It literally said press E to get to fucking people. Okay, well, first of all, this is one.
Yes!
Oh, he's sweating bullets. Bitch. Oh yeah, because he had to have been shot from the front. If the residue is on the front, that's where the bullet doesn't come out with residue. What the fuck? What do you mean? Bruh. Oh, please. Surely this doesn't require an explanation. It couldn't be more plain. To spell it out would be an insult to the court. Kazuma, what are you talking about? It is apparent from a single glance at the photographic print presented by the defense that there's a clear discrepancy here with the surgeon's statement. What? Sergeant E.A. Sanosa. Yes, sir. What, sir? The statement you just made was this. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian and from the back the cowardly little weasel. Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. I witnessed the crime scene with my own military-grade eyes, sir.
Yes!
But no, that just can't be. And why not, cadet? Because... Oh my fucking god, that's annoying! Take a close look at the print. The victim, Dr. Wilson, died from a bullet wound to the chest. Sergeant, according to your witness statement, the culprit shot the victim from behind. And that is the obvious discrepancy here. Well, how do you explain it? Oh, well, why do you have a baby? Why does he have a baby? What was that? Something just popped up from behind his back. Certainly, there is a clear discrepancy with the facts here. Would you not agree, Sergeant Nosa? Yes, sir. At this juncture, that would appear to be indisputable. Until the moment I heard the firearm discharge, my eyes were firmly fixed on the delicious La Carnival steak, sir. What? The last testimony the court heard has proven one thing beyond all reasonable doubt. This witness, Sergeant E.A. Sanosa, did not see the defendant firing a gun at all. Ugh, that's absurd. I think the conclusion we must draw is simple. There is no place for amateur prosecutor here in this grand courtroom. There's a baby! Why does he have a baby? Hang on, I'm messaging Knick-Knack. I'm messaging Knick-Knack! Oh! Jesus. That was weird. Anyways. I must know! Why does he have a baby? There's just been a complete turnabout in the mood of this trial, just from one discrepancy. Well, yeah, it's a pretty big one. No one saw you shoot the dude now. So this is what being an ace attorney is on. They said it! They said the thing! An ace attorney! But I definitely saw him. That university cadet there, he was pointing the firearm directly at the victim's back. But I never fired the gun. All I did was pick it up off the floor. And you, old man, you didn't see the moment the victim was shot either? No. Myself, I have already been quite sure. The gunshot interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor. Ha-ha! Too busy on the floor? Sorry, what were you doing? Hunting for the treasure. Treasure? Indeed, the Hoi-era koban, my prized coin. On each occasion where I visited that restaurant, it is my habitude to place in my bosom pocket a particular trinket of interest from my shop, Rasute, in hope of meeting a rich diner who might like to buy it from you. On the day under scrutiny, it was to the military man that I preferred my Hoi treasure. Believed that he would purchase such a rare find, I did not, but I was presented with little alternative. And then, after averting my eyes for the briefest of moments, was there no more? It simply vanished. The koban vanished? Hunting around under the table I was, in case mayhap it had fallen there, and then it happened. I need y'all to know that Nick Nack just messaged me back. Single dads can't afford childcare. Rough economy, you know? You heard the gunshot, you mean? Indeed I did, but I heeded it not, for I was concerned only with finding my absconded Hoi treasure. Nothing could distract me! I love this man. Out of interest, did you find the coin in the end? No. I see. That lamentable day, the precious Hoi koban was lost to me. No doubt some unscrupulous scoundrel pocketed the prize coin for himself. As I am sure everyone present is aware, this case demands a swift and decisive resolution. Our government has promised to send a full report to Great Britain by telegraph this after. I feel like you are not allowing for proper time. Nevertheless, the witness testimony the court has just heard was inconclusive. No matter how subservient our government feels it must be to the Brit. Ooh. It would be unforgivable to deliver a verdict on this trial right now. What is your position, Prosecutor Akuchi? Ouchie, fuck. Worry not, Your Excellency. The defendant may have fled a tiger at the front gate, but he will find a wolf at the back. My witnesses have further testimony to make. Explain. Upon hearing their next statements, it will become abundantly clear that there's only one person who possibly could have committed this despicable crime. The equally despicable defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Is it Naruhodo? Like, I've heard that in animes before. Isn't it like I see, something like that? Anyways, what? He really seems to have a despicable opinion of you, doesn't he? Yeah, what did you do to make this man hate you, my guy? Oh, that's a plate. Okay. Oh, I have an extra Diet Dr. Pepper here from yesterday that I didn't finish. Beautiful. Ugh. Very well. The court invites the witnesses to testify again. You will thoroughly explain the reasoning behind the prosecution's allegation. Is that clear? As clear as Kiriko glass, Your Excellency. Yes, sir. At once, sir. Awaiting... excuse me, but there's something or someone peeking out over your shoulder, I think. Affirmative. The newest member of the Nosa family to rise up through the ranks. Sir, name Ido. It would seem those straps are a sign of the sergeant being too strapped to afford a nanny. Aww. Ido. Teen Shun. Your father is about to quell the enemy. Watch and learn, my boy. Oh my god. Fucking baby. Alright, witness testimony number 2. The true culprit. Even if what I saw wasn't the precise moment the firearm was discharged, it's almost the same thing. Yes, pointing his gun at the forward man, he was that young lad in black. That much I myself did see. Furthermore, a visual search of the premises at the time confirmed that we were the only personnel present. Indeed, alone he was, the Englishman, dining all by himself. Therefore, no one other than that black uniformed cadet could have dispatched the Englishman. Over and out. These testimonies are certainly compelling. Wait, that's nonsense. The victim, Dr. Wilson, wasn't alone at all. Please, enough of these outbursts already. But there was a woman. There was a young woman at his table. You must have seen her. Everyone there must have seen her. If you call yourself a liar, then you will respect the rules of the court and speak accordingly. We are not here to listen to your fantasies. Ugh. It is evident beyond all reasonable doubt that the victim was alone at the time of the incident. The prosecution has photographic evidence of this fact. Is this a photographic print of the scene of the crime, counsel? Indeed. Of the table at which the victim was dining, taken by an investigator immediately after the incident. As can plainly see, there is only one place set. Certainly, based on the appearance of this print, it would be reasonable to conclude that the victim was not in the company of anyone else. This doesn't make any sense. The court will add this new photographic evidence to the record. The photographic print of the crime scene. I don't understand. What's going on here? It's just not possible that nobody else saw the woman. The waiter before said the same thing. He maintains that Dr. Wilson came to the restaurant alone as well, but that's not true. I saw her. I swear that I saw a woman with him. It would seem that we'll be able to telegraph the report to Great Britain on time. After all, the witness testimonies we have just heard leave no further room for doubt. These are very sensitive political times, as we all know. The ink is still fresh on the treaty with Great Britain. To think that I, T.H.E, will have contributed to the amity of these two great empires is an honor. Bitch. Bitch, this is bullshit. How could this be happening? The judge is ready to rule. Stand tall, Ryunosuke. It's not over yet. What? If what you say is true, then there's something going on here behind the scenes. And now is your chance to expose it, to draw out the truth in your cross-examination. I don't know, Kazuma. The defense is entitled to cross-examine the witnesses, but make it quick, understood? Rules can be so unbending at times. Yeah, I'm sorry that the justice system is forcing you to consider due process of the law. Oh my god. Such a horror. Alright. The true culprit. Even if what I saw wasn't the precise moment the firearm was discharged, it's almost the same thing. Yes, pointing his gun at the foreign man he was, that young lad in black, that much I myself did see. Furthermore, a visual search at the premises confirmed that we were the only personnel present. Indeed, alone he was the Englishman, dining all by himself. Therefore, no one other than the black uniformed cadet could have dispatched the Englishman over. Oh. I mean, technically, the only other people who could have discharged it are those two, but can't win this trial. Alright, listen. The first thing to do is calm down. You can't expect witness statements to be full of holes every time. So just take your time and try to tease more information out of them first. What do you mean? You can choose either press or present against each of the witnesses. If the witness is saying something you're suspicious about, press him on it with Q. With a little luck, you may get more details, which could prove to be crucial. Right, I see. Okay. The important point is there's no sense in holding back. If anything even slightly jars with you, press the witnesses on it and press them hard. Alright, got it. I'll press them like the blocks of joint. The professor wasn't alone in the restaurant, I'm sure of it. In one way or another, this cross-examination is going to prove I'm right. It's time to press them for all they're worth. My fate depends on... Yeah, okay. Let's try pressing on this.
Objection!
Hey! And yet no one else appears to have caught even a glimpse of this woman. Ugh, if only there'd been more people dining there at this time. Then someone else would have noticed her. Unfortunately, it was already past 2 p.m. when it happened. The quiet time between lunch and dinner in any restaurant. Right! So many blades. I know. Of course, the place was almost empty. It is what you'd expect. Certainly 2 p.m. is neither here nor there in terms of a time to eat. I wonder if there was a reason why the victim was eating at that time of day, and why he was alone. Yes, Your Excellency. There was indeed a reason. There was? This was found in the victim's jacket pocket. What is that, Counsel? It is a medical report card, Your Excellency. It would seem that the victim had an appointment at a clinic prior to visiting the restaurant. HODUNNIT clinic? Yes, that would indeed appear to be an entry for the date in question. 19th of November, noon to past 1 p.m. The very day of the incident. So the victim went for late lunch following his appointment. The explanation couldn't be more simple. The prosecution felt no need to submit this evidence before, as it really has no bearing on the case. I wonder, what do you think, Ryunosuke? Well, it is hard to see how it could be related. Remember, you can request for it to be entered into court record as evidence. Yes. Ask for it to be submitted.
Yes!
Always accept all evidence. Oh, our eyes are so shifty. On what grounds? The court has already heard conclusive witness testimony. Additional evidence would be extraneous, not to mention that the victim's movements prior to his arrival at the restaurant are of no concern. No, that's not true. Whether or not they are of concern is up for us to decide. We have a right to explore all possible avenues. I beg your pardon? You have no authority to refuse a perfectly valid request for the submission of evidence. Very well, the court will grant the defense's request. Youngsters these days are forever asserting their rights. It's a most disturbing trend. Yes, we're asserting our rights. This is kind of the point. There are rights. Officer, kindly add the victim's medical report to the court record. Victim's medical report card has been entered into the court record. What we need right now is new clues. We have to explore things from every possible angle, even if they don't seem relevant at first, right? I hear you. You can conspire to prolong this trial as much as you like, but it's the day after the festival already for you. Or perhaps you'd forgotten that these witness testimonies leave no room for debate. Feel free to reiterate for the accused, Korakuta-san. I want to look... Okay, I want to look here. Excellent work, Ryunosuke. We've gleaned some new information now. Well, yes, but I don't feel like it changes much. I can't see that it brings any real discrepancies to light. I'm struggling on this one too, I admit. I wouldn't be so sure. Let me see that medical report card you got. Oh, you mean this? Yes, this brand new piece of evidence. So perhaps we should examine it in a little more detail. How exactly? Unfortunate. Alright, you'll notice that some pieces of evidence bear a magnifying glass. These are the ones you may examine. Press space and you can take a closer look at the piece in question. Use the keys to kind of look. Alright. And to rotate the evidence in all directions and examine it from all angles. By using WASD, you can move the crosshairs to hunt for clues that may have been missed before. If the crosshairs start to pulsate, press space to investigate further. So partner, I think you should take a closer look at the medical report card, see if there isn't something new to be learnt by examining it in more detail. Alright, I'll see what I can do. I need to use... Okay. Oh. Let's have a look. This is some kind of medical history. And there's an entry for the day the professor was killed. Extraction of molar with topical anesthesia. he had a tooth taken out? It would seem so. Just before the incident, he'd had a bad tooth removed. Perhaps they used laughing gas. That's the most modern practice in the West for pain relief. Yes, I've heard of this anesthesia, although it's hard to believe there's anything that can actually stop you from feeling pain. There's a cautioning note from the medical practitioner as well. Strictly no food or drink besides water for 3 hours post-procedure. Okay. The medical report card's information has been updated in the court record. With this new information, the meaning of that one particular statement totally changes. So I think it's time we listen to the testimony again.
Yes!
Couldn't have been dining alone because he was not supposed to be dining. Well, I think, about what are you wittering, lad? Call yourself a lawyer? I wish I could. But first and foremost here, I'm the accused. Ryunosuke. Everyone stumbles on their words occasionally. Under the circumstances, I wouldn't worry about it. Thanks, Kazuma. I could see it quite clearly in that cross-examination you just carried out, when you raised your hand straight up like that, purposefully. You knew exactly what it was you wanted to say. Don't feel like you have to choose your words carefully. Just say what you're thinking. Alright, and thanks for your advice. Yeah, breathe and speak. Korakuta-san, this is a medical report card belonging to the victim. Ah, I see, and I don't see. What of it, boy? Comparing what is written in this report card with your witness statement, something clearly doesn't add up. Dear me, have you forgotten my words so soon, you amateur? Sorry, what? You are not to interrupt court proceedings with your amateurish drivel. But, let's see if I can explain in words you might understand. It was after 2 p.m. in the afternoon when the victim was murdered at the restaurant. Whatever he may or may not have done before that time is completely irrelevant. But that's, oh my fucking god, speak up! Remember, Ryunosuke, you don't have to use clever language or fancy words, just make your point. Your Excellency, I believe we're finished here. There's surely no need to prolong this trial even further. The witness testimonies the court has heard are conclusive. This medical report card has no bearing on the matter at all, for the simple reason that there is no one else besides the... This medical report card has nothing to do with the case. Yeah, besides the pale-faced pupil who could have perpetrated the crime. Do you really believe that? What? That outburst half petrified me, boy. Of course I believe it. How could it possibly be relevant? Perhaps because Hotta Clinic, which issued the report card, is a dental clinic. A dental clinic? Is that supposed to mean something to me? Perhaps if I told you that the victim had just had a tooth extracted? What's this now? And furthermore, if I told you that as a result the victim had been forbidden from eating. Just what are you trying to say, cadet? He had orders not to eat, so what? It's all written up in here. No food or drink other than water for 3 hours post-procedure while anesthesia wears off. What? No, that can't... Korakuta-san. What, boy? What? As you just heard, when he was killed, sometime shortly after 2 p.m., the victim couldn't have been eating anything at all. No. Additionally, there's more. You have assured the court with unwavering self-confidence that the victim was dining alone. But that cannot possibly be the case. Because the victim, as we know now, had just had one of his teeth extracted and was still experiencing the effects of the anesthesia. I have defeated him, slightly. Expertly done, partner.
Objection!
What? What is this nonsense, you little upstart? These are baseless accusations. Just look at this photographic evidence. You can clearly see the plate of food at the victim's table.
Objection!
Use your head. That's the very discrepancy we're talking about, or can't you follow the logic? How dare you? I think it's fair to say that the tables in this restaurant case have turned. Wouldn't you agree, Ryunosuke? Yes. Most definitely. So, having just undergone some dental surgery, the victim was unable to eat. Which leaves one very crucial conundrum. Who ate the steak? Who in fact was eating the pictured beefsteak? The court will hear the opinion of the defense on this new puzzle. I assume you're ready, counsel. Yeah, that means you. It does, my dude. Alright, the answer to this question is going to be pivotal. This is the start of your turning this trial around. Show them what you're made of. Got it. So, come on. The person eating the steak at the victim's table must have been an as yet unknown third party. Obviously, it can only have been someone else who was sitting at the professor's table. You will not let this go, will you? There was no such person. There was, because I saw her. You know what? In hindsight, I think this would have been a hilarious stream to actually do with Knick-Knack and just have us sitting across this table from one another, yelling at one another. Like, genuinely. That would have been hilarious. When the incident occurred, we know that the victim couldn't have been eating anything, yet we have evidence of a half-eaten steak on his table. Therefore, the only logical conclusion is that there was somebody else there eating it. We have strong evidence to support our assertion. It's clear that these witness testimonies are unreliable. If the court decides to push through a ruling at this stage, we will lodge a formal complaint with the Ministry of Justice and pursue a fair retrial relentlessly. Kazuma, are you insane? You would take on the government? Don't worry, counsel. I have no issues with you. What do you mean? I have issues with them, those two witnesses in the stand. What? What are you talking about? We have demonstrated with evidence that the victim was not alone. So, if it now turns out that the two of you deliberately lied when giving your testimonies, obviously you will be charged with perjury. Perjury? And, since this is a murder trial, you will also be deemed complicit in the killing. Complicit in murder? No! Hold. Negative. There was no mention of this at the tactical meeting. What tactical meeting? I was just following orders. That's right, as the man says. Just say you never saw the gentlewoman. That's what they told us. Yeah, gents. Oh, you've admitted it. There was a tactical meeting where you were told not to talk about the woman. What did you just say, Korikuta-san? Oh, no. You were just following orders. Now, hold on, lad. I was, say you never saw the gentlewoman? When you say gentlewoman, do you mean you saw the victim with a lady from overseas? What?
Objection!
What is the meaning of all this? These witnesses gave false statements? Is this true, you pair? Yeah. Just one simple slip of the tongue. It's not a slip of the tongue. This is perjury. You have given false evidence. Order. Counsel, explain what is going on here. It's painfully clear now. You tried to prevent these witnesses from telling the truth. Absolutely not. The prosecution knows nothing of this. Then who's behind this? Who tried to make you keep your mouth shut? Well, that's classified. So you're prepared to be tried as a conspirator to this murder, are you? You wouldn't. This can't be happening, Ryunosuke. Judging from the way they're reacting to this, I'd say they were sworn to silence by someone with considerable influence. However, I don't believe T.H.E had any idea of it. What are you saying? I mean, to wield that kind of influence, there are only a handful of possibilities. It could only have been the government, the military, or the police, I suppose? Well, any ideas about who might be behind this? If we can affirm who tried to silence these witnesses, then we can continue our pursuit. So we need to name whoever it was who tried to make these witnesses keep their mouths shut. Of course, we'll need evidence before we make any firm accusations. Evidence that proves whoever it whoever it was really did wield his or her power here. But how? How can we possibly? Remember how we made progress before? Before? We examined this piece of evidence in more detail and found a new clue as a result. Oh yes, that's right. Well, that's not the only piece of evidence we have, is it? We need to re-examine everything and make sure there's nothing we've missed. There's no time to lose. I want answers. If it's proven that these witnesses have been manipulated, I assure you the penalty will be severe. Please, wait, Your Excellency. I had no idea about any of this. I swear to every Shinto god I knew nothing. And what does the defense have to say about all this? Well, Your Excellency... Okay. I do some... supposed to be like, is this shit supposed to like light up or something, or? Oh, Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau. He's not a waiter. Look, do you see it says the witness's name here? Satoru Hosonaga. Business cards, yes. Let's see. Job title. Chief Inspector of the Imperial Police Bureau. I have no idea, but let's face it, the police have a lot of power and influence. If they're wielding it somehow here, the waiter's business card information has been updated. Okay, alright. This plan of the restaurant raises a number of questions, I think. Definitely. It's supposed to show the relative position of everything in the moments following the incident, but there's nothing to show the woman you say you saw there. Exactly, and that's not all. Look here in the upper left where it says kitchen. Oh yes, what of it? No one would use those complicated characters to write kitchen, especially not if they were in a hurry. You mean you don't remember those characters yourself, don't you? Study harder, Ryunosuke! Okay, so it's the same. Alright. Okay. Not the head waiter, not anymore. Alright. Your Excellency, no time to think. I'm just going to have to close my eyes and shout out the first name that comes into my head. It's the police! besides the prosecution, the only person with the necessary influence to manipulate the witnesses is...
Yes!
Well, surely that would be Satoru Hosonaga-san. Hosonaga-san? The waiter who took the stand earlier?
Objection!
Poppycock. What possible reason would the waiter have to make these witnesses give false testimony? Not to mention the fact that even a head waiter could not possibly have that level of influence. For once, I would agree with you. But, if, that is, the man truly were a waiter. If he truly were... Come on, Ryunosuke, time to hit this court with the truth. The truth about Satoru Hosanaga's real identity is proven by this evidence.
Yes!
The plan of the restaurant sketched by the man in question? I agree it shows a great deal of attention to detail, but I'm not sure we can conclude anything. Sorry, Your Excellency, that's the back of the card. It's the back of the card that's of interest? I beg your pardon? Or perhaps I should have said, the front? Yes. It's the front of the back of the card. That's where the telling detail is. What the fuck, my dude? Would somebody please explain what this overexcited student is trying to say? Hosonaga-san sketched the plan of the restaurant on the reverse side of his business card. The front of that business card reveals the man in question's profession. His true profession. The waiter's profession? But that's surely... Good gracious! That's right, Your Excellency. The card reads Chief Inspector, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau. What? The waiter is a police detective? I haven't heard any mention of this before. Why haven't I heard any mention of this before? The Imperial Police Bureau has immense power, absolute power as far as regular civilians are concerned. So, witnesses there in the stand... Was it in fact the waiter who gave you your orders? Was it he who told you not to mention that you'd seen this foreign gentlewoman at the scene? Well... Who's yelling hold? Oh. Inspector Hosonaga. I was worried something like this may happen. The moment you asked me to submit my sketch as evidence, I realized it was a possibility. Yeah, adding it to court record. Is there a problem? Hand the plan over to the court officer at once, he said. Of course, here you are. Yes, I remember now. He did act strangely when the judge asked him to hand over his business card. I strive to carry out all investigations flawlessly. It's my guiding principle, but I let myself be distracted when I made that sketch. It was an unusually careless mistake. So you mean to say you really are a detective? But why would a detective be working as a restaurant waiter? Ah, of course. I was working undercover. Undercover? Yes, there have been a series of incidents at the restaurant recently. In order to investigate, I decided to get a job there as a waiter, working undercover. Incidents at the restaurant? What kind of incidents? That would be classified police information which I am not at liberty to divulge. However, I can state categorically that they are unrelated to this case of homicide. Very well then, Inspector Hosonaga, but you will elaborate on one point for the court. Of course, Your Excellency. We have just heard new information from two witnesses beside you. That at the time of the shooting, there was in fact another person present at the victim's table. If that is indeed true, clearly you would also have been aware of this person's presence having served at the table in question. However, your testimony did not allude to this other diner, therefore I am led to assume that in your professional capacity as a police officer, you required these witnesses to be in agreement. Would that be correct? Ahem. Correct, Your Excellency. Unbelievable. As I suspected. You TV bastard. As soon as I heard the gunshot, I ran out of the kitchen to see what had happened. The victim sat slumped in his chair, and beside him, gun in hand, stood the accused student. Sitting opposite the victim at the same table was a young lady whom I guessed to be an Englishwoman. So the truth comes out. I immediately sealed off the restaurant and reported the incident to the Bureau. It was then that I received some special orders. Special orders? You mean to say, remove the Englishwoman from the scene at once. It was made clear that the Englishwoman's presence at the restaurant was to be concealed. Those were my orders. But But what if the Englishwoman was the killer? I think it would be in everyone's best interest not to pursue that idea. What the fuck? The Empire views the friendly terms of its relationship with Britain more highly than anything at this moment. An Englishman has been murdered on our soil. To name an Englishwoman as the primary suspect. Well, without irrefutable evidence, that would be completely out of the question. So that's the reason for the disappearance of the Phantom Woman in this case. But it's not right. Of course not. One possibility does spring to mind. What do you mean, Kazuma? WHODUNNIT University is currently hosting a number of exchange students from Great Britain, and I'm fairly certain that one of them, studying in the medical faculty's research laboratory, is a young Englishwoman. What? You're a shrewd man. I can see why you're the chosen candidate for the overseas study tour. You mean? When I removed the woman from the scene of the crime, I thought it was prudent to check her identity first. Then the court demands that you name the lady in question at once, Inspector. The Englishwoman sitting at the university professor's table was a certain Miss Giselle Brett. She is indeed a foreign student studying in the research laboratory of WHODUNNIT University's medical faculty. What? What is happening here? I admit that under orders from the police bureau, I erased all evidence of this lady's presence at the scene and ordered these witnesses to make no mention of her in their testimonies. It must now be up to your excellency to decide how to deal with the situation. Just because you have a new treaty with Britain does not give you the right to then conceal who might have committed a murder and blame one of your own citizens. Very well. My thoughts on the matter are as follows. Thus far, the case presented to the court has been underpinned by a particularly critical premises, namely, that the victim was dining alone. However, as we have now discovered that this premise is false, it would be a desecration of our justice system to ignore the truth and give a ruling at this point. But Your Excellency, that would mean missing the noon deadline of a ruling in order to send the telegraphic report to Great Britain. Our own government will surely be very displeased by such actions. Calm yourself, Counsel. I will not allow the government of our country or any other to influence the proceedings of my courtroom. Ugh. Inspector Hosonaga. Yes, sir? You will locate this Giselle Brett and escort her to the courtroom with the utmost urgency. Yeah, that's right. At once. Yeah, jump too, bitch! But that means you'll be going against the special orders you were given from the police bureau. As I said before, it is my guiding principle to carry out all investigations flawlessly. So it won't be a problem? Jesus, dude! Nothing will get in my way. I'm liking you. You've turned it around slightly. Court will adjourn briefly. The prosecution must call the English student Giselle Brett to the witness stand. Do I make myself clear? Yes. Your Excellency. Good. Then we will have a 30-minute recess before reconvening. Yes, I will save my current progress. November 22nd, 11:38 a.m. Supreme Court of Judicature, Defendants Antechamber 5. Excellent work, Ryunosuke. That was superb. Ugh, my heart was in my mouth the entire time. It was almost unbelievable. I mean, looking at you in there. You were drenched in sweat, your eyes popping, your knees knocking, and you were grinding your teeth. It was a grim sight, but before I knew it, you'd started finding inconsistencies in the testimonies. I think you might have a natural talent for being a lawyer. Forget it, it's terrifying. If I get through this, I don't ever want to see the inside of a courtroom again. Anyway, it looks like we've exposed your phantom lady at last. Miss Giselle Brett, a student from Great Britain, is she? That's what I was trying to tell everyone from the start. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone. There was a young woman with him, like I've been saying all along. Yes, you have, haven't you? I might not be overly confident in the courtroom, but my powers of observation are one thing I am sure of. Yes, I can see that. So, about this young gentlewoman. Thanks to our detective friend, she was hastily escorted away from the scene, it seems. Did you see what happened with that? No, I didn't see any of it. I was just on my way out of the restaurant myself. Then, on the floor next to Dr. Wilson's table, I noticed there was a gun lying on the floor, and just after I bent down and picked it up, bang! I didn't have time to think about where the sound of the gunshot had come from. The waiter ran over to me, looking as white as a sheet, and he bundled me into some sort of small pantry next to the kitchen. Fast thinking by the detective, he apprehended his suspect without a moment's delay. Yes, and because I was shut in the pantry, I have no idea what happened outside in the dining area. Ah, there you are. Well done, both of you. It's the professor! Professor Mikotoba. Well, it seems I was right. The pair of you make an outstanding team. You've exceeded my expectations, I have to say. Yes, it seems you planned this from the start. You arranged things so that I wouldn't be able to act as a lawyer in this trial. Our modern country is still in its infancy, our justice system even more so, which is why I firmly believe that we need to send our brightest young stars overseas to learn all they can. I wanted to avoid a situation that may have resulted in your study tour to Great Britain being cancelled. Well, it makes no difference. Lawyer or otherwise, if I'm the kind of man who can't help his best friend avoid the worst crisis of his life. I shouldn't waste everyone's time by going to study overseas anyways. Good for you! Keep your morals! What? What are you saying, Kazuma? So that's your stance. I was afraid you'd feel that way. Kazuma. Well then, it looks like it all comes down to you, young man. To me? Yes. You need to prove your innocence and uncover what really took place in that restaurant. I must say, I very much want to know the truth. After all, I have a personal connection to this case. Come to think of it, he said the same thing earlier this morning, didn't he? If you don't mind me asking, Professor, did you know the victim? Yes, I did. As you're probably aware, Dr. John H. Wilson was a visiting professor at UMA, and it was I who invited him. Oh, I see. I didn't know that before. Anyway, you're about to go into battle. The victim was a university professor from Great Britain, and a well-known one at that. Naturally, our government is looking to identify and punish the culprit as quickly as possible. But let's not forget who we're going up against. The gentlewoman whose involvement our police bureau went to extraordinary lengths to hide. Yes, and I'm sure the prosecution will be using every tool at their disposal to quash your case. But I've no doubt that you pair will put up a good fight right to the last. Best of luck. Now then. I need you to run an errand at the university at once. There's something I think we may need. Of course. Good luck, Kazuma-sama. Interesting. Defendant Naruhodo, court recess is over. Please make your way back into the courtroom at once. It's time. Let's get back to it, partner. Let's go in there and deal a decisive blow. Before those old fossils know what hit them. Kazuma. Why do you keep brandishing your sword? What? Thank you. Really. What for? Well, if you hadn't said you believed me, then I'm fairly sure I'd have already been found guilty by now. Look, I have faith in you. As a lawyer and as a friend. Coming from you, that means a lot. If I'm found guilty in this trial, He's really going to give up on his dream of studying abroad. That's the kind of true friend he is. So this isn't just my battle anymore. Whoever we're up against, we absolutely cannot afford to lose. Alright then. I'll save the thank yous for after the trial. You can treat me to one of those sukiyaki meals I like from Yume Cafeteria on University Street. With an extra large portion, of course. 22nd November, 12:09 p.m., Supreme Court of Judicature, Courtroom 2. The court hereby resumes the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Prosecutor Aochi, have you managed to subpoena the witness? Yes, Your Excellency, against all odds. And thanks to a certain young stripling, the prosecution is now under rather painful scrutiny from the government. Ugh, sorry. Let the government scrutinize. That's their job. It's nothing to worry about. It's highly unlikely that the good relations we've forged with Great Britain will emerge from this trial unscathed. Will you still think it's nothing to worry about when the new treaty breaks down and our nation flounders? Again, terribly sorry. If the friendship between our nations is really so fragile, then the treaty isn't worth the paper it's written on. You really have nothing to worry about, Ryunosuke. What do you mean? A secret trial, anxiety over some foreign government's opinions, a bungled investigation, missing witnesses. Is this what our nation's justice system is? Is this the Supreme Court of Japan or of England? Shut up, you jumped-up rookie boy. You and your friend know nothing of the situation our nation finds itself in. By aligning ourselves with this great world power, we'll become strong. Diplomacy is key. Steady political maneuvering is what will secure our futures. I won't deny that I'm no expert, I'm just a student, and one who could study harder too, but standing here now in our Supreme Court, there is one thing I feel very strongly. A country that fails to uphold the truth in its justice system is a country with no future at all. Well said, Ryunosuke, despite the wide-eyed look of terror. Don't talk down to me! Thank you, Counsel. This court is the pinnacle of our nation's justice system and exists solely for the pursuance of truth. With that in mind, this trial will now resume with the new witness taking the stand. A visiting student from Britain, Miss Giselle Brett. Yes. Your Excellency! Well, what a delight it is to welcome such a fine gentlewoman to Japan, and from such a distant land. Tea. Somebody bring English tea. In England, no discussions take place without tea. Is that true? No idea. So, could we possibly trouble you to state your name and occupation for the court? Of course. My name is Satoru Hosonaga. I have been working under... Yes, we know all about you already. Inspector Hosonaga, where are your manners? In England, it's always ladies first. Is that true? No idea. More importantly, a little earlier today you said something to me. You said your powers of observation are one thing you're sure of. Oh yes, I think I did, didn't I? Yet your description for this amazing sight was simply a woman. Sorry, Ryunosuke, but your powers of observation aside, your powers of description are sorely guilty. Rude. So, dear lady, once again, if we may trouble you for your name and occupation, please. Ah. Yeah, I'm thinking they're all a tad smitten. I think we need a translator. I'm terribly sorry, dear lady, but what? The lady says her name is Giselle Brett. She comes from London, England. She's a visiting research student currently enrolled in Yume University's medical faculty. Oh my, what a rare treat to hear the dulcet tones of the delightful language of the British people. I'm afraid I don't understand a word you said, but it was as beautiful as a hummingbird's song. It is not what I would use to describe English, as far as I can tell. The detective is translating her words faithfully enough. Yes, I agree. Haha, you'll obviously do fine in England, Kazuma. Her English doesn't rattle you at all, does it? Nor you. You've clearly been paying attention in your English classes, Ryunosuke. The court thanks the beautiful lady for taking the stand. Now, if we may trouble you to confirm something, Miss Brett. 3 days ago, at a restaurant called La Carnival, a grim murder took place. The court has been led to believe that you were dining there with the victim, Dr. Wilson, at the time. Is that correct? Alright, let's see. She says, yes. This could take some time. So even though she's studying here in Japan, she can't speak any Japanese. She'd like to apologize for disappearing from the scene. She says that she was due to make a presentation at the university, so she had to leave immediately. Interesting, when you're the one who engineered her escape. I was just following special orders from the Bureau. Well now, dear lady, would you be so kind as to cast your eyes over this photographic print? Seeing as you were so unfortunately present at the scene of the crime, could it be that your resplendent eyes caught the sight of the wicked perpetrator, perhaps? Apparently, it was very frightening, and a sorrowful sight. Do you mean to say... Yes, it would appear the lady did witness the crime. The very moment when the accused, standing right there in this courtroom, shot the victim in cold blood. Oh, I love the feather poof on her butt. It's funny, too, because it's not inaccurate, because there is a... In the Edwardian era, there was kind of like... The bustles were kind of on their way out, but they were still sort of a thing left over from, like, the Victorian bustle. So, like, you still have, like, the butt padding. Order in the court. Did you hear that, Your Excellency? Here, we have an absolutely conclusive witness statement. Well, it looks like it's clear now. Clear who our real enemy is. Unfortunately, I will have to ask you to formally testify, if you please. Kindly tell the court the exact nature of this frightening and sorrowful sight you described. Okay, witness testimony. Alright. Frightening and sorrowful sight. I had arranged to meet for a slightly late luncheon with Dr. Wilson that day. The professor was unable to eat, so I ordered for myself only a beefsteak. After a while, the accused came over to greet the professor, and they got into a fierce argument. Then, not long afterwards, the accused took the professor's gun and shot him right before my eyes. I don't carry a gun myself, so obviously I couldn't have been the culprit.
Yes!
This is condemning. No, I didn't have any kind of argument with the professor at all. Quiet, you filthy wretch. Look at you, you black-hearted blackguard, and this snow-faced angel. I'm sure even a dark-minded scoundrel like you can imagine whose words the court is going to believe. You're still making the same mistakes, Ryunosuke. You mustn't blurt out when you're goaded like that. That's a lesson you need to learn. Ugh, but he's so annoying. Of course, I was at the scene as well. I took statements from this lady and the 2 witnesses who testified before and reported back to the Bureau. It was decided that Miss Brett was not involved, so I let her go. The testimonies of the last 2 witnesses were completely worthless, however. Well, even so. On the day in question, the lady was wearing the same outfit as she is today. As you can see, there is nowhere about her person where she could conceal a firearm. That is a lie! That is a fucking lie! Right? So first of all, just because you couldn't conceal it somewhere here does not mean you cannot. I know those skirts. There are pockets big enough to fit whole fucking wine bottles in those skirts. I know this for a fact. Unless, and the precise location where the witness is to have hidden the weapon can be shown, this is moot. There are no pockets in my outfit. I have nowhere to hide a gun. Those are the witness's own words on the— That is a lie! Ugh, that's ridiculous. If only I was allowed to lift up her dress, I could prove it. Don't think about doing anything rash, Ryunosuke. But I didn't fire the gun I picked up. There must have been another gun there that day. You're right about that, which means the lady was hiding a gun in her outfit. Yes, that's what we have to prove now. And to do so, we need to pull her testimony apart. The defense may now cross-examine the witness. Oh, yes, Your Excellency. Alright, let's see. You're slightly late. Sure. Hey! Totally unfounded lie. Still, her statement is very compelling. After all, she's an elegant, refined young woman and beautiful gentlewoman from Great Britain. In stark contrast to you, dressed from head to toe in a dull black school uniform. I'm dressed exactly the same way you are, except for the flapping red ribbons. Well, anyway, this is our only chance to expose your testimony as the fiction that it is. If we can't do that, the trial's over. Even you, with your thick skin, must be able to feel the murderous looks you're getting from around the room. Only too well, I feel half dead already. And the fact that I can't see a single inconsistent— No, there are inconsistencies in her testimony. First of all, she ordered a beefsteak. Who ordered the drink, right? Because he wasn't supposed to have sparkling water, right? Second of all, he wasn't supposed to have water, and sparkling water is typically something you have to order separately, first of all. Second of all, why did the gun fall on the floor for him to pick it up? The first thing to do is press her on any of her statements that seem even slightly off to you. Do that and an opening will present itself, I promise you. I need to expose the true face of this exotic foreigner that's hiding behind the mask. That's what I should be aiming for in this cross-examination. Yeah, okay.
Yes!
He was unable to eat, you say. And that was because he just had a tooth removed. That's right. You're supposed to actually check with the witness before answering. Was Miss Brett aware of that fact? Seems so, yes. She learned that the professor was having some dental treatment. So that would mean that it was you who ate the steak pictured here. Is that right, Miss Brett? That's right, yes. The print you have there shows the table exactly as it was left after the horrifying events. Exactly as it was left? Dear me, what a harrowing experience. To have traveled to a distant island on the far side of the world and to be embroiled in such a tragic accident. Have no fear, my dear lady. I swear I will crush the evil fiend that has subjected you to this terrible plight. So the victim, Dr. Wilson, had nothing to eat or drink at all. That's right, other than some carbonated water. Just water? Yes, the professor was unable to eat, but he had been given permission to drink water, so it appears that the diners toasted their luncheon with a glass of water each. They each raised a glass of carbonated water. What do you think, Ryunosuke, about the witnesses? It was very meaningful. Because where's the second glass? That last statement of yours, Miss Brett, has a profound bearing on this case. Well, well, how fascinating. Do tell us, what is this profound bearing? The significance of this statement will become apparent when the time is right. The defense calls for the witness's last statement to be formally added to the testimony. Well, sidestepped counsel. Very well. Miss Brett, kindly repeat what you just said to be added to your official testimony. Gladly, she said. That was brilliant, Kazuma. I'm going to remember that one. Which one? The significance will become apparent when the time is right. It's a really useful phrase. I'd hope there are some useful tips you're picking up from this experience other than that. Ryunosuke. Hang on.
Yes!
Well, what about the last statement made by the witness? Seems perfectly reasonable to me. Exactly, perfectly reasonable in every way. Perhaps you should take a leaf out of the witness's book and learn to... Hey! No, I'm trying to... Where's the other glass, though?
Yes!
And like I said, there's no point repeating that assertion over and over. Well, I wasn't expecting to be attacked by my own side. Nevertheless, defendant, you can't deny that when the shot rang out in the restaurant, you had a gun in your hand. Well, yes, that's true, but all I did was pick up the gun I saw on the floor next to the professor as I was leaving the restaurant. In fact, yes, there was someone much closer to the victim than me at that time. That will do, you dirty, rotten scoundrel. Dirty? Your baseless accusations could very well cause an international incident, boy. It seems to me that your accusation is just as baseless as ours. What nonsense. The lady is merely stating what she saw. And this is already an international incident as far as I'm concerned.
Yes!
That statement contradicts the facts as demonstrated by this evidence. As far as I can tell, there's nothing untoward about this evidence, but that... Pull yourself together. You look as though your eyes are about to pop out of your head. I can't help that. It's just my look. I don't get it.
Yes!
Press her on that? It's all very well saying that, but can you prove it? Absolutely. I verified it personally. You verified it? Yes. Immediately after the incident, I checked to make sure the lady was not carrying a weapon. I distinctly remember her saying, "I'm not." That's all you did? You just asked her? Surely you carried out a physical search, Inspector. No. Why on earth not? The honorable English gentlewoman clearly stated that she did not possess a weapon. There was obviously no need for any further probing on the matter. Or there was no permission given for any further probing onto the matter, perhaps. Think what you will, but if you're going to continue with this preposterous claim that the refined lady was concealing a firearm, the prosecution demands that you support your assertion with facts. In other words, he wants evidence. Ugh. The lady wishes to point out that of course she wanted to stay and assist with the investigation, but she was in a hurry to give a presentation at the university, so she was compelled to leave. Not to mention the fact that your office had told you to get her out of there. Not get her out of there, I just urged her to leave. The lady would like to point out that she was in no way meant to run away from the scene of the crime. Which is why she is only too happy to cooperate and testify here in court today, of course. Unlike a certain student who refuses to admit when the game is up. You could at least have the courtesy to pay attention when I'm goading you. No, I'm not supposed to react to your goading. Shut the fuck up. She's maintaining that you got into an argument with the professor at the end of which you shot him, which is an out-and-out, totally unfounded lie. Still, her statement is very compelling. After all, she's an elegant, refined, young, and beautiful woman for... Yes, I know she's elegant and refined. That does not mean that she is trustworthy. In contrast to you, dressed from head to toe in a dull black school uniform. I'm dressed literally had this conversation before. Okay. Well, anyway, this is our only chance to expose her testimony as the fiction it is. If we can't do that, the trial's over. Bruh! Even you with your thick skin. Yeah, okay. Alright. Alright, fine.
Yes!
After 2 p.m., in fact. That's really quite a late lunch, isn't it? You don't keep up with the latest fashions from Britain, do you? Late luncheons are en vogue, isn't that right? No. A decisive English no has quite a sting to it. The gentlewoman is currently working in the victim's research laboratory, it seems, so it was apparently a daily occurrence that they would lunch together. But on the day in question, the victim had another appointment at the clinic first. Yes, to which we can prove from the medical report card that was submitted as evidence earlier. That's right. Miss Brett and the victim went to lunch following the victim's treatment, which is why it was so late. Yes, that all makes perfect sense. Such wonderful logic, what a shining example of English intelligence this fine gentlewoman is. So you both arrived at the restaurant. What happened next? I ordered a beefsteak for myself, and the professor and I said cheers over a glass of carbonated water. After a while, the... How do I go back in the... Okay. Alright. Okay, we're repeating the same thing over again. Alright. Okay. I've got a feeling maybe it's about the argument. Jesus. That's really annoying. I can't... So if I miss it when she's saying it...
Yes!
Okay. So A and D are back and forth. Alright. That was not explained. At least in terms of, like, the actual... this. Okay. Let's go over to say hello. Okay. Please don't get angry with me. No, I wasn't directing that retort at you. It was meant for the lady next to you. But anyway, as I said, I did not argue with the professor. Sorry? Miss Brett does not appear to speak Japanese. No, of course not. Japanese is such a cumbersome language and... Oh, you bastard! English is the future. We must all speak English. Hey! No! This is bullshit. I wonder if the prosecution will feel that way forever, or only in the presence of a beautiful woman, huh? Well, that beautiful woman is telling blatant lies with a completely straight face. I have to find something that will unravel her testimony. Anyway, it seems like after the argument, the accused briefly returned to his own seat. That part ties in with what you said, doesn't it? Yes, I still had some coffee to drink. And the next time you got after that was when I'd finished my coffee and stood to leave. Then, not long afterwards, the... Yeah, fair. That does work, A and D specifically.
Yes!
Oh, fuck. Not this again. I'm trying to find the correct... No, because, like, I know...
Objection!
Yeah.
Yes!
Fuck me, I did it again. Unintentional. Also, I can see the little... Okay, alright. That one was on me.
Objection!
Yeah. International incident, whatever. Yeah. Okay, hold on. And yes, I see the little... Alright. So theoretically...
Yes!
What do you mean, no? But it... No.
Yes!
Something's up. As you wish. Now kindly lower your hand. Never, not until I've proven I'm innocent here. I'm so confused now. So she's maintaining that you got into an argument at the end of which you shot him. Okay, which is the lie. Okay. Okay, yeah, that's the same. Okay. I feel like what's missing is a second cup. And also, if she's eating If she's the one eating, the food should be in front of her, and this is the chair that he died in. But the magnifying glass does not seem to be helping. At all. I'm just not looking at the correct things. Yeah, I get it.
Yes!
Okay, being the waiter, I poured the 2 glasses myself, except you're actually a detective. And the beefsteak, that was for you, right, Miss Pratt? The lady says that she'd heard it was not customary to eat beef here until Japan opened its doors to the world. Yes, that's true. What a frightful place, is the lady's opinion. And I've heard it's not customary to eat sashimi in Great Britain. Now that's frightful. True. Every country has its own cuisine. As long as people have food to eat, what does it matter what it is? True. Come to think of it. The first time I tried carbonated water, it was much more of a shock than the first time I tried beef. But anyway, back to this witness's statement. Somehow, I feel like there's something out of place with what she's saying. We need to pounce on the slightest thing now, because you never know what might lead us to our goal. Our goal of turning this trial around. Understood, Kazuma. After a while...
Yes!
No! No! That's not what I meant to say. Gotta present on the missing cup at this point? Hang on.
Yes!
It really does, tacos. That's it. Finally. Let me just confirm something, please. It's to do with this photographic print. I've known this entire time it was the fucking glass on the table. I just couldn't get the mechanics to tell me. Just a short while ago, you spoke of this print showing the victim's table at the crime scene. Oh. That was exactly as it was left. That is correct, the lady says. Well, that is, it's odd, very odd. Dear me, what's odd is the defense's inability to express itself. Ugh. Ryunosuke, what about the print that looks odd to you? Well, obviously, it's the cheers. The cheers? Miss Brett just told us that she and the professor said cheers over a glass of water. But if that's true, there should be 2 glasses on that table, not 1. Ah. You're quite right, Counsel. There's only one glass pictured here. Are we supposed to be impressed by this nitpicking over minutiae? What possible difference does the presence or absence of a glass make on the case? Minutiae, you say? Could it be that the detective here removed a glass from the table to conceal the lady's presence? Of course not. I would never do something so reckless. But there should have been 2 glasses on the table, or are you going to try to tell me you can clink with only one? You're quite right. I certainly took 2 glasses to the table. Inspector, what did the lady just say? It would seem that it was Miss Brett who took the glass from the table. What? It was also terrifying, everything that happened. I panicked and thought I should try to hide the fact that I'd been there at all, she said. Good gracious. Sorry. Hey, sorry don't mean shit. There, as I assured the court before, this is of no consequence at all. Oh, please. We must remember that this student had just murdered this lady's lunch companion before her very eyes. Who could blame her for concealing a glass or 2 in her state of disarray? That's absurd. Oh, really? So do we take it that you are now going to accuse the vulnerable young and beautiful woman of mischief? What? No. This can't be put down to mischief. I'd like to know exactly how the lady took the glass from the scene. It would seem that she slipped it into a small handbag she was carrying. A handbag, you say? Yes, Your Excellency, a small handheld pouch commonly carried by well-to-do women in England. So the beautiful lady has very graciously explained how and why she removed the glass from the scene now. However, the fact remains that this glass has absolutely no bearing on the case. The student has been trying to confuse the court with logical reasoning, but in the end it comes out to nothing. No more pretentious accusations. You've wasted enough time already. Indeed, the lady has offered a satisfactory explanation as to why she removed this glass. I think henceforth we consider the matter to have no bearing on the case. Counsel for the defense, are you in agreement? No! If you want to pursue this matter further, you're going to need to show that it has some deeper significance. Yes, you're right. So she took the glass away in her handbag. The handbag! Wait, the lady put the glass in her handbag, you say? Yes, do try to keep up. It's already been explained to the court that all English gentlewomen carry handbags for small items. Let me see. A little while ago, Miss Brett stated the following. There are no pockets in my outfit. I've nowhere to hide a gun. But what she forgot to mention was her handbag, in which would be perfectly possible to conceal a gun. You're right. Well done, partner. I had a feeling you'd pick up on that too. What are you insinuating, you vile blackguard? It's really very simple. Is it? The gunshot was heard when the defendant picked up the gun from the restaurant floor. As he didn't fire that gun, we can deduce there must have been another firearm at the scene. The true murder weapon, if you will. Yeah, that's right. Keep sweating. You can't seriously be suggesting. Inspector Hosonaga. Yes. Did you or did you not search Miss Giselle Brett's handbag on the day of the murder? No, sir, I did not. As I thought. In other words, another gun, the one that was actually used to kill the professor, could have been hidden in Miss Brett's handbag. No! Yeah, get fucked. Order, order, order! What is the meaning of this, Inspector? The meaning of what, Prosecutor T.H.E? Why on earth did you not have the lady open her handbag and show you the contents at the time? Thanks to your bungling incompetence, now she has to endure these uncomfortable accusations. Brilliant work, partner. Now we have a chance to expose the real woman behind the mask. Do you think so, Kazuma? Jesus, dude. Well, what a sorry situation. Clearly, you have no faith in the police. As I said, I did not search the lady's handbag after the shooting, simply because it was unnecessary. Unnecessary in what way? I ought to thank the student lawyer, really. I have a piece of evidence here that I had completely forgotten about. This photographic print. This print is of a photograph that I thought would be prudent to take immediately after the shooting. As you can see, it clearly shows Miss Brett's handbag. Well, I never. You can see right through to what's inside. That's right. Apparently, mesh work bags like these are the height of fashion in London at the moment. So the contents are clearly visible. Exactly, so there was no need to examine the handbag. If there had been a gun inside, it would have been immediately obvious. Ugh. As you can see, there's nothing to imply Miss Brett's guilt here. Thank you for helping to prove that, Naruhodo-san. Ugh. I need to examine that photo. Order! Order! Oh, it's not been entered yet. Inspector Hosonaga, you will submit that print as evidence at once. Certainly, Your Excellency. The photograph of the handbag is... Okay, now it's in the court record. I think you could... The court has now been shown considerable evidence. As the photographic print just submitted into the court records appears to have no further significance, I am satisfied that there is no longer any room for doubt in this matter, and I must make my ruling. Indeed, and there is only one logical conclusion, that the pathetic rookie slumped over the bench before us is the only possible perpetrator of this crime. No, just when I thought I was beginning to turn things around. I'm in a worse situation than I was at the start. Kazuma. I'm sorry, Ryunosuke. Now that the cross-examination of the witness is over, there's no way to force the trial to continue. You mean... Yeah, the fucking... Okay. I must say, you put up quite a fight for a rookie student, but the weaker meet while the strong eat. You are wasting your time. There's no way to defeat true justice. A fact you can chew on to your heart's content from the inside of your cell. This can't be happening. Am I really going to be found guilty of a crime I didn't commit? And Kazuma. His dream of going to study in Great Britain will slip through his fingers. Kazuma, what? Is there really... You heard the judge. There's nothing about the last photograph the detective pursued which could be of interest, which means there's no basis on which we can argue for the trial to continue. Very well, I will now proceed immediately to the ruling. It seems we'll be able to report to the British. That smug little... Ryunosuke Naruhodo...
Yes!
Yes. Yeah, that's right. Object. Wait, Your Excellency. Ryunosuke? I don't think you can rule on this case yet. This amateurishness is getting tedious. When His Excellency deems the trial is over, he gives his ruling. That is the most basic protocol in the courtroom. Your Excellency, just a moment ago you said this. As the photographic print just submitted appears to have no further significance, there is no longer any room for doubt in this matter, and I must make my ruling. Now that means if there were a problem with the evidence, some significant detail, I mean, then ruling on this case at the time would be out of the question.
Objection!
This is a blatant straw clutching. Look at that photographic print. All it shows is the handbag the gentlewoman was carrying on the day in question. There could be no problem with this evidence. You'd better know what you're doing, Ryunosuke. I understand your objection, counsel. Certainly the new evidence submitted by the detective has not undergone the court's scrutiny. However, I fail to see how we can glean any new information from this handbag. Ha, my thoughts exactly. Really, the prosecution is becoming tired of this rookie's desperate wheezes. Yes, I am desperate, but this isn't a wheeze. There's something about this photograph which just doesn't seem right. If only I could put my finger on it. Very well, I will grant the defense one final opportunity. What? But be warned, if I am unsatisfied by your response here, the trial will be over with immediate effect. Do I make myself clear? Yes, Your Excellency. So, take another look at the photographic print Inspector Hosonaga submitted before. We will identify for the court where in this print we see the significant detail to which you have alerted. Oi, no, space, examine. Wait. What? Oi. Shit, okay. Oh, I don't know. I'm guessing I have like one option, and then if it doesn't...
Yes!
Okay. Alright. Look at this here. It's a very unusual mark on the victim's wrist. That is true. It looks almost like a burn of some sort.
Objection!
Dear me, I was pondering what new piffle you would come out with. A burn, you say, on the victim's wrist. Clearly, that has nothing whatsoever to do with the magnificent lady's handbag. Yes, that is a burn mark, you're right. Go on, Inspector. The police coroner also noted it when performing the post-mortem examination. It was deemed unrelated to the cause of death, so he didn't note it on his report. What did I tell you? In any case, we have no idea when the victim suffered this burn, do we? And no possible way of knowing either. The more I look at it, the more I find myself intrigued by the curious shape of this mark. However, as Prosecutor T.H.E points out, unless a firm connection to this case can be shown, I cannot allow any further time to be spent on the precise details of this burn. Excuse me, Your Excellency. It would seem Miss Brett has a lunch appointment with the Dean and other university staff. She would like to know if she may be excused from the stand now. Oh, of course, dear lady. We shan't hold you up any longer. I'm quite sure His Excellency is about to give the final ruling anyways. What's your thinking on this, Ryunosuke? Do you believe this burn does have something to do with the case? To be honest, I'm not really sure. But if I don't keep pushing, then it's all over. So I was thinking I should keep digging and digging in the hopes I might uncover something useful. Yes, you're right. I am? If we can just link that burn to this case, if we can do that, we might be able to prise this shutting door back open again. Just give up, Counsel. You can't possibly hope to do that. Indeed, I'm afraid that without evidence, I can't allow you to pursue what is little more than conjecture. But if we had evidence that irrefutably linked the burn on the victim's wrist to the case, then you would allow it? I would, yes. To tell the truth, I hadn't noticed that burn, but as soon as you pointed it out, what I did notice was the color draining from Miss Brett's face. Really? I have to find some link between that burn and the case. This is the moment of truth. It's time to find some evidence that proves what that burn really means. So then, the defense will now present the evidence to the court. The evidence that demonstrates an inexplicable connection between the victim's burn and this trial. Aha!
Yes!
What's this, Counsel? Yet another print? Yes, Your Excellency. I believe the photographic prints are an amazing invention. When we humans look at a scene, we miss things. But in a photograph, things we may have overlooked at the time are recorded forevermore. Do hurry up, Rookie. What are you trying to say? To inconvenience this poor lady any further would really be quite inexcusable. Actually, we may need you to stay with us a little longer, if you don't mind, Miss Brett. You see, it's very clearly visible in this other photograph. How did the victim come to have that unusually shaped burn on his wrist? The reason is recorded here forevermore. What? How?
Objection!
You can't fool me with your little bluffs, boy. If that's your game, then let's see how it plays out. Show the court exactly what you mean. What is it in this photograph that explains the reason for the victim's burn?
Yes!
The beefsteak? Actually, the point is the metal plate the steak was served on. The plate? Your Excellency, are you all right? As you can see, there's an emblem on the plate. I would guess that it's some sort of trademark of La Carnival. This emblem on the plate and the victim's burn are the same shape. Ryunosuke, you genius. You're spot on. Which means the victim must have suffered this burn while sitting at the restaurant.
Objection!
But even if that is the case, we can't know if it happened on the day in question or not. It could have been the day before or the day before that. It most likely happened at some other unrelated time. Well,
Objection!
Sadly, Prosecutor Aouchi, the chances of that are extremely slim. Thanks. Why? The outline of the burn is clearly discernible. Such a serious injury would have caused quite a commotion in the restaurant. Wouldn't you agree, Inspector Hosonaga? I can't imagine having missed such a terrible disaster, certainly. But... I would say, looking at the picture of the wound, that it wasn't suffered very long ago, and although it's not a particularly large burn, it's extremely well defined, as the defense just pointed out. This was no mild burn, that's for sure. Can you be more specific, Inspector? Well, let's see. If the plate was around 90 degrees centigrade, a burn like that would have taken around 3 seconds. It's inconceivable that the victim wouldn't have let out a scream of pain then. I've been investigating at the restaurant for several weeks already, but I've not heard anyone scream at all. As the head waiter of La Carnival, I can testify to that without hesitation. But you're a detective, not a waiter. Yeah, but he was there, regardless.
Yes!
There you have it. Something isn't right here. As the detective said, anyone who burnt themselves on a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds would scream in pain. There's no question of that. And yet Inspector Hosonaga never heard the professor scream, not on that day or any before it. That's right, and the strange thing is, on the day he was shot, I didn't hear him cry out either. What are you suggesting? Well, if the professor had carelessly laid his wrist on the plate for anything like 3 seconds that day, that would be beyond careless, I think, counsel. Then the rest of us in the restaurant, myself, the sergeant, the old gentleman, all of us would without question have heard him scream. Wouldn't you agree, Prosecutor Aouchi? Oh, well, yes, I suppose. So the question is, why didn't a single person hear Dr. Wilson scream? I almost don't believe it. Ryunosuke, do you think... Can it really be true? I never dreamt we'd arrive at a conclusion like this, but I'm starting to think that maybe we've been led into a terrible trap. There's only one explanation I can think of to make sense of this apparent impossibility. On the day in question, when he suffered the burn onto his wrist, Dr. Wilson was already deceased. No man could remain silent while his wrist was burning on a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds. That's clearly impossible, apart from one particular situation. Counsel, are you suggesting? Yes, it's only possible if the man was already dead. Already dead? Knowing what we know now, it's the only possible explanation. When the beefsteak was brought to Dr. Wilson's table that day, the professor was already dead. That's madness! Order, please. Counsel, explain this absurd notion at once. The victim was killed by a gunshot. That's right, that's absolutely right, Your Excellency. This is just another ridiculous... There was no blood on his clothes!
Objection!
No, Prosecutor Aouchi, it's you who has no grasp of the facts. I beg your pardon? As soon as it became apparent that the victim had suffered that burn while at the restaurant, this whole case was turned upside down. Or have you not grasped that yet? Your Excellency, the court must hear from this witness again. If it's true, as we now believe, that the victim was already dead before the gunshot was heard, it is highly likely that Miss Brett knows something about it. Incredible. I certainly didn't anticipate this twist of events. I'm sorry to say, Miss Brett, that you will have to forget your luncheon engagement. But, Your Excellency... The justice system in our country may be in its infancy, but rest assured, all reasonable doubt must be dispelled before I am prepared to pass judgment. Thank you, Your Excellency. What was that smile? Yes, of course. I mean, I'd be delighted to help, especially if it helps relations between my country and yours. She speaks Japanese. Miss Brett, you speak Japanese? Well, of course I do. I am studying in your country after all. But then, why have you been speaking through an interpreter until now? My mother tongue, the Queen's English, is the most refined and elegant language in the world. As a gentlewoman, I try to avoid speaking in your vulgar tones as much as possible. That's rude. But it seems the men of this land possess none of the chivalrous virtues of English gentlemen, so I can see that I shall have to lower myself to communicating with you all on your own level. Oh, well... You are the epitome of a true English gentlewoman. Yeah, a bitch. We are truly honored by this lavish consideration you so graciously afford us. I see. In that case, Miss Brett, I will now ask you to testify in your own words about the events leading up to the death of the victim, Dr. Wilson. So we're finally going to hear her own words on the matter. Things are getting interesting, Ryunosuke. Witness testimony. Okay. The victim's death. Unfortunately, I have no idea when the poor man burnt his wrist like that. When the waiter brought my steak, the professor and I raised our glasses in toast. As far as I've heard, the post-mortem report showed no other possible cause of death besides the gunshot. If there's some other way a man's life can be taken without leaving a trace, please do show me, but of course, this country's inferior investigative techniques probably wouldn't pick up on it anyway. That most captivating and beautiful testimony will go down in the Supreme Court's history. Thank you. Yes, it will, as an example of truly horrific behavior on behalf of English people towards Japanese people. How dare you? Easy does it. I hope that this is the last time I'll have to sully my lips with the coarse tones of your unbecoming tongue. Oh, forgive me. I do hope I haven't insulted any. You have insulted all of them! Not at all, not at all. It is a delight merely to hear you speak, dear lady. It seems very clear from your testimony that this boorish talk of the victim's burn is utterly irrelevant. I will be speaking to your country's Minister of Justice about what happened here today. The Minister of Justice? May that irritating little bully of a student be given the harshest punishment possible. Amen. Huh? Thanks? Was that a prayer, then? Well, you'll have to forgive the irritation, Miss Brett, and put up with a cross-examination now. I expect you've noticed that this little bully of a student, as you put it, doesn't miss much. I'm sure I don't need to remind you, counsel, that this will be your final cross-examination in this trial. If you fail to demonstrate any problems with this witness's testimony, I will be ruling on the case immediately. Is that clear? Jesus. Yes, Your Excellency. Then you may proceed with the cross-examination. Okay. All right.
Yes!
Yeah, but why is the steak in front of the professor? Dr. Wilson was only permitted to drink water at that time, if you remember, which explains why he ordered that drink. Certainly. Exactly as you say, sir. Although? Whether or not the professor actually drank any of the water when I delivered the steak to the table. I'm afraid I don't remember that. Damn you. I have enough English to understand that at least. For the benefit of others in this court, it means bless you. No, it doesn't! It means the exact opposite. Anyway. As far as I've heard,
Yes!
but the steak... Fucking hate that. Pay no attention, Your Excellency. As you wish. Now kindly lower your... Fuck! Okay, I saw that little last thingy disappearing. Okay. No. I used too many chances up on the last one. Okay. I think the goal of this section was to demonstrate that I think that the stake was in front of him and not her. I think. But, yeah. Alright, I got the guilty verdict. The accused will not be granted the right to appeal. That is all. Court adjourned. Okay. Yeah, so like I said, I'm fairly certain the point of that section, we're going to return to the title screen for now, was to... No, return to the title screen, because I'll have to go back anyways. Yeah. When I play this again. So that's going to be it for me today, because I got a guilty verdict. I'm almost positive that if I hadn't fucked up so many chances in that second one because I couldn't figure out what I was supposed to be finding, that what I was supposed to have shown this time is that the stake was in front of him. And technically, if it was on this wrist and with the plate, like, he would have been the one eating the steak. Or at least that's the way it was positioned. Yeah, no, only 3 hours, practically, tacos. Also, I did end up looking it up while I was online, and looks like I'm nowhere. I was like, how long does this game actually take? Because, you know, I have, like, hidden object mysteries that only take, like, 2-ish hours. This is not one of those type of games. So, I'll be restarting from before that scene in the future. The reason why I started playing this on channel, and you probably are not going to see me play through this entire game on channel, although it'll go up in polls occasionally, is that we're going to be using this as an off-the-shelf eventually, once I finish it. So, definitely look forward to that. And then tomorrow morning, I will be back to play Fate Grand Order and start E Pluribus Unum. I'm currently skipping Prison Tower because that's a challenge quest, and I'm probably going to end up doing at least part of that with Knick-Knack there to help me. So that's my plan there. Honestly, besides this game being a little bit clunky, I'm enjoying it. I think perhaps it would be... Yeah, Jens, it's a very long game. I googled it just now, and it looks like the kind of general reckoning is like over 70 hours to finish this. And to be honest, streaming it is fun, but I can read it a lot faster if I'm going on my own, because I read a lot faster than I can when I'm playing like this. So, you know. Yeah, tacos. Normally it is, but at the same time, if I want to get this done anytime soon, I don't think I have time to spend 80 hours playing this. That's a lot of streams at the rate that I stream, even. Although I might bring this back up on stream. But yeah, I'm almost positive I know what I fucked up on. You know? Ugh. But yeah, it's interesting. I'm gonna be honest, you know, obviously for Knick-Knack to know, but I really don't think that the setting here is all that important to my enjoyment. I mean, I don't know. You know what? That's an off-the-shelf discussion. That's an off-the-shelf discussion topic because of why Knick-Knack selected this. So I'll probably finish this case on my own, but I'm assuming that there are multiple cases in this. So I might stream like the start of each one. You know, like if I choose to do like one a week, I might like stream once, or kind of like the start of one every single week or something like that, or every other week, at least until I either complete it or get like a guilty verdict like I did today, because I think that would be interesting, because like obviously once I've gotten the guilty verdict, I know what I did wrong. I can go and finish it on my own on this particular case, because I'm assuming that's how this is laid out, because this was showing as like chapter 1, Bienvenue La Carnival, so I'm assuming there's multiple chapters, each of which is a different mystery. So the goal would be to be back with more of these at some point in the future. But that being said, I am done for today, and I will see all of y'all and others for tomorrow morning on FGO if you have some free time. But yeah, enjoy the rest of your day.